All right, so get ready because we're about to do a deep dive, into the 2024 U.S. Open women's singles final.
Oh, yeah.
We're going way beyond just like highlights and really trying to unpack what happened between Sabalenka and Pegula.
Right.
We've got expert commentary. We're going to have a sense of that electric atmosphere in Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's basically like you have the best seat in the house.
What a match it was. Two incredible players, obviously both so hungry for the title.
Yes.
But they brought, totally different strengths to the court.
Yeah, Sabalenka, already a two-time Australian Open champion.
Yes.
Known for that. Just absolutely explosive power.
Oh, yeah.
But the U.S. Open titles is like eluded her so far.
Yeah.
This was her chance to prove like she could conquer New York, too.
Yeah. And for Pegula, this was a huge breakthrough moment.
Yes.
First Grand Slam final, she was riding high after just an incredible summer season.
Exactly.
All this happening indoors.
Oh, right.
They had the roof closed because of rain.
Yes.
Adds like a whole other layer of complexity,
For sure. Indoor conditions, they change the game.
Oh, yeah.
In subtle ways, the ball bounces differently. Players might tweak their strategies a bit.
Absolutely.
It was fascinating to see how that played out.
Yeah. One detail that really stuck with me was that Pegula changed her racket strings mid-match.
Oh, wow.
And not just at any point. She did it on set point.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pressure of making that decision like in the heat of the moment.
Right.
We're definitely going to have to unpack that later.
For sure.
But first, let's rewind to that incredible first set.
Okay.
Sabalenka, she came out firing just like she'd been talking about all tournament.
Yeah.
Remember how she was really emphasizing like improved consistency?
Yes.
Especially on her serve?
You could see it like from the very first point.
Right.
For the first 6 points of the match, she didn't miss a single first serve.
Wow.
And she was winning almost all of those points.
Yep.
It's so aggressive right out of the gate.
Totally.
Really puts your opponent on their heels.
It was like she was saying, like, this is my time.
Exactly.
But Pegula, she is not easily intimidated.
No.
She clawed her way back after going down a break, showing that signature fighting spirit of hers and making these tactical adjustments on the fly. And the crowd, wow.
Wow.
That energy in Arthur Ashe Stadium was palpable even through the screen.
Oh, totally. Crowds can really make or break a player in tennis.
Oh, for sure.
They were definitely pulling for Pegula, of course, the home favorite.
Yes.
But it did seem like all that energy was getting to Sabalenka a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe adding to the pressure that she was already feeling.
I think so, too. There were definitely a few moments where she seemed visibly frustrated.
Yeah.
But then came that just unbelievable game where Pegula saved 4 set points.
Oh, my God.
The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife.
I know.
Both players were hitting these just incredible shots.
It was amazing.
That was such a turning point.
That resilience under pressure is remarkable.
Yeah.
It's not just about, the physical skill. It's about that mental strength.
Yeah.
To stay focused.
Yes.
When the stakes are so high.
Totally.
To save 4 set points and serve in that situation.
Right.
That's championship level composure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could really see the momentum shift after that marathon game.
Yeah.
Even though Sabalenka ultimately took the set.
Right.
It really felt like a crucial psychological victory for Pegula.
I agree.
Even in defeat.
Exactly. Losing that first set can be a blow.
Right.
Especially against, a power player like Sabalenka.
Yes.
But the way Pegula fought back, it showed she wasn't backing down.
Not at all. Okay, so Pegula's made a statement. The crowd is going wild.
Yeah.
And this is where that second set gets really interesting.
Okay.
We see this clear shift in Pegula's game plan.
Okay.
Instead of just trying to counter Sabalenka's power,
Right.
she starts dictating the points, taking more risks, and forcing Sabalenka to move.
It was such a smart adjustment.
Yeah.
In that first set, Sabalenka was just dominating at the net.
Right.
Winning 12 out of 13 points when she came in.
Wow.
But in the second set, Pegula started taking the ball earlier, hitting deeper, not letting Sabalenka control the points from the baseline.
Interesting.
And suddenly, Sabalenka's net game wasn't as effective. She only won 2 out of 4 points at the net in that second set.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's like Pegula had figured out the puzzle
Right.
of how to disrupt Sabalenka's rhythm.
Yeah.
But this is also where that string change comes in, right?
Yes.
Pegula's coach later said the indoor conditions were making the string slippery, so she needed to make a change.
Wow.
But to do that mid-match on a set point,
Right.
that is a bold move.
Talk about thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
It just shows you how much of professional tennis is about adapting to the situation, making those split-second decisions.
Yes.
New strings can feel completely different.
I bet.
It takes time to adjust to them.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a risk.
Right.
It could have totally backfired.
Absolutely. And all of this is happening
Yeah.
while Sabalenka's clearly getting more and more frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
There are those racket slams, some yelling. You could feel that tension rising.
Yeah.
It seemed like the crowd was getting to her.
Possibly.
Bringing back, those old struggles with keeping her cool under pressure.
Even the best players in the world, they're human.
Of course.
They feel the pressure, the emotions.
Right.
And for Sabalenka, who's been pretty open about her struggles with, controlling those emotions in the past, this was a real test.
Yeah.
But what's remarkable is that she didn't let it, completely derail her.
Right.
It's almost like she used that frustration as fuel.
Exactly. Because despite those outbursts, there was this amazing shift in her focus, too.
Oh, yeah.
She starts digging deep, fighting back point for point, showing this incredible resilience. And then we get that breathtaking 20-shot rally.
Oh, yeah.
Back and forth, just incredible shot making.
Amazing.
From both players, and Sabalenka wins it.
That rally was a turning point.
I agree.
I think it proved that she wasn't just a power player, that she could grind it out in those long, grueling points.
For sure.
It shattered that perception that she couldn't win when the rallies went beyond a few shots.
Yeah. It was like a switch flipped for her.
Right.
She found another gear.
Yeah.
Another level of determination.
Absolutely.
And from there, it felt like she was unstoppable.
She was on fire.
But we'll dive into that championship moment.
Okay.
And the incredible aftermath after a quick break.
With Sabalenka serving for the championship, the energy in Arthur Ashe Stadium was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could feel that anticipation, the tension. It was a moment that had everyone on the edge of their seats.
I know. I was holding my breath. Pegula wasn't giving up, though.
No.
Not even for a single point. She fought tooth and nail, pushing Sabalenka to the limit, almost forcing a tiebreak. But then that championship point.
It was such a classic Sabalenka shot.
I know.
Just a powerful forehand down the line.
Yes.
She went for it with everything she had, and it was just perfectly placed.
Right.
Pegula had no chance. The look on Sabalenka's face said it all, pure joy, relief.
Yeah.
And just the realization that she had finally, achieved her dream.
I got chills watching that moment. And the crowd, who had been so vocal throughout the entire match, they were completely silent. It was like even they were stunned by the power and the precision of that final shot.
It's those moments, those pivotal points that separate champions from contenders.
Absolutely.
Sabalenka had been in this position before, facing championship point, and hadn't been able to close it out.
Right.
But this time, she really rose to the occasion.
She did.
She embraced the pressure and delivered.
It was such a contrast to that emotional roller coaster we saw from her earlier in the match.
Yeah.
All that frustration, that visible struggle to maintain her composure. It all just seemed to vanish in that moment of triumph.
It's almost as if, that emotional release, those moments where she let her frustration out, were necessary for her to find that final gear, that extra level of focus and determination.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how emotions can play such a complex role,
Yeah.
in athletic performance.
For sure. What about Pegula?
Yeah.
She was obviously disappointed, but even in defeat, she showed incredible grace and sportsmanship.
Absolutely. She handled that loss with such maturity.
Yeah.
She acknowledged the disappointment, but she also focused on the positives.
Right.
Reaching her first Grand Slam final is a huge accomplishment.
It is.
And she proved that she belongs at the top of the game.
She even joked in her post-match interview that she wished Sabalenka had let her win at least one set.
Right.
It just speaks to her perspective and her resilience.
Yeah.
She's already looking ahead, and I have no doubt that we'll see her in many more Grand Slam finals in the future.
Oh, for sure. For me, what stood out was Sabalenka's transformation.
Yes.
We've seen her raw power before, but this time there was a new level of mental fortitude.
Right.
A maturity in the way she handled her emotions and fought back from adversity.
Yeah.
The Sabalenka who won this U.S. Open title is a different player than the one we saw last year.
I agree.
And that evolution is what's most impressive.
It's like last year's loss in the U.S. Open final was the turning point. Those tears of frustration, they fueled her growth.
Right.
Her determination to come back stronger.
Yeah.
She learned from that experience, and it shows.
It's a powerful reminder that setbacks are inevitable, but they don't have to define us.
Right.
It's how we learn from those setbacks, how we use them to fuel our growth.
Totally.
That makes the difference.
Yes.
And Sabalenka's message to everyone watching, never give up on your dreams, it resonated deeply.
Oh, yeah.
It's a message that transcends tennis. It's a message for life.
I loved that. Speaking of memorable moments, we have to talk about that celebratory tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
Sabalenka's coach went all out getting a tiger head tattooed on his head.
That's dedication.
I know.
You have to admire that level of commitment and excitement.
Right.
It definitely added to the post-match celebrations and created a buzz on social media.
It's a perfect symbol for Sabalenka's win, isn't it?
It is.
She fought like a tiger out there.
Yes.
Fierce and determined. And, you know, it's those little details, those moments of humor and personality that make these sporting events so special.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, it's not just about the wins and losses. It's about the stories, the emotions, the human connections that make these events so captivating.
Right.
And that's what makes this deep dive so rewarding.
I agree.
It's not just about understanding the match. It's about understanding the people, the journeys, the moments that make it all come alive.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the 2024 U.S. Open Women's Final, what are the key takeaways?
Well, we've seen, incredible displays of power and precision.
Yes.
Strategic adjustments that change the course of the match. But it's the mental game, that inner battle, that really stands out.
Totally. We saw resilience, determination, the power of learning from setbacks.
Absolutely.
Both Sabalenka and Pegula showed just incredible mental toughness, even when things weren't going their way. They dug deep, they found solutions, and they pushed each other to the limit.
And that's what makes elite-level tennis so compelling.
Yeah.
It's a game of inches of moments.
Yes.
Where the mental game can be just as important as the physical skills.
And we also can't ignore the impact of the crowd. Right? That electric atmosphere in Arthur Ashe Stadium, we could feel the energy through the screen, and it's clear that it had an impact on both players, adding another layer of complexity to the match.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that tennis is more than just a sport. It's an experience, a spectacle, a shared emotional journey.
It's that shared experience that makes these moments so memorable.
Yes.
Whether you're a diehard tennis fan or just tuning in for the big events, there's something so captivating about watching these athletes push their limits, battle their emotions, and ultimately achieve their dreams.
I agree.
And that's the beauty of this deep dive. It allows us to appreciate not just the athletic achievements, but the human stories behind them.
So we've unpacked the strategies, we've analyzed the key moments, and felt the emotional intensity of that final match. But what about you, the listener? What resonated with you most?
Right. What insights will you carry with you?
That's the ultimate goal of this deep dive, isn't it?
It is. To spark curiosity, to encourage reflection, to leave you with something to ponder long after the episode ends.
Exactly.
Perhaps it's Sabalenka's journey of growth and resilience or Pegula's grace and defeat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the realization that even in the most intense moments, there's always room for humor and celebration.
I like that.
Whatever it is, we hope this deep dive has enriched your understanding of this incredible sport.
For sure.
And left you inspired by the stories of these remarkable athletes.
Absolutely. This was a final for the ages, and we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on this incredible sport and the amazing athletes who play it. You know, it's amazing how these deep dives always reveal things you don't catch when you're watching live.
I know, right?
Like we've talked about power and strategy and mental toughness.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what were some of the less obvious things that stood out to you?
Well, one thing that really impressed me was Sabalenka's drop shot.
Okay.
Especially in that second set. It was so effective at catching Pegula off guard and disrupting her momentum.
Oh, you're so right. I remember a few of those points.
Yeah.
It felt like such a smart tactic against Pegula's aggressive baseline game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a good reminder that even power players need variety.
Yeah.
You can't just rely on brute force.
Right.
Sometimes a little element of surprise, that touch of finesse, can be just as effective.
Yeah.
And it's something that Pegula was trying to do, too, by becoming more aggressive herself.
Yeah, it's like they were both trying to outsmart each other, constantly adapting.
Totally.
And finding ways to throw the other one off balance.
Exactly. And it made for such an interesting match to watch.
Yes.
But ultimately, I think Sabalenka's power, combined with that newfound consistency we talked about, proved to be too much for Pegula to handle.
And we can't ignore the impact of the crowd either, right?
Oh, no, they were definitely a factor in this match.
It was clear that Pegula was feeding off of their energy, especially early on.
Oh, for sure.
But for Sabalenka, it seemed like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Sometimes it fueled her, but other times, you know, particularly in that second set, it felt like it added to the pressure she was already feeling.
Right.
And that's the fascinating thing about tennis, isn't it? It's so much more than just hitting the ball.
Yeah.
It's this, like, intricate dance of strategy and physical skill and mental fortitude. Yes.
And then you layer on the energy of the crowd and the weight of expectations. It's all part of the drama.
It's what makes it so compelling to watch.
Yeah.
To analyze, to discuss. And it brings us to something that I want you, the listener, to consider.
Okay.
Do you think Sabalenka's emotional outbursts, those moments of frustration, ultimately helped her win? Or were they a hindrance that she had to overcome?
That's such a great question.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the role of emotion in performance.
Yeah.
That fine line between passion and composure.
Exactly. And it's something we see not just in tennis, but in all aspects of life.
Right.
How do we harness our emotions, use them to fuel our efforts without letting them, you know, control us?
Such a good point. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 2024 U.S. Open Women's Final, I think we've uncovered so much more than just highlights.
Yeah, we have.
We've explored the nuances of strategy, witnessed the power of resilience, and I think gained a deeper appreciation for that mental game that underpins it all.
And maybe most importantly,
we've been reminded that even in the most intense competitions, there's humanity and humor and a shared sense of passion that connects us all.
Beautifully said. This was a final for the ages, and we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on this incredible sport and the amazing athletes who play it.